Today I have called it, "Is it I, Lord?" And you will come to know what that means at the end of the talk. First reading is from the prophet Isaiah. In the years before the exile to Babylon in 589 BCE, it's the section where Isaiah gets his call to serve God's people, signed by Isaiah's tongue being burned by a live coal that had been taken from the altar to signify the seriousness of the call to become God's anointed prophet with followed Jerusalem in the exile to Babylon for over a generation. It comes early in the book of Isaiah when an angel sent by God comes down to him, interrupting his scribal work to tell him that he is to be a great prophet for his people, signing the deal not with a handshake or a written document, but placing a burning ember on his tongue. As you contemplate this, I will read the passage and you can look at this painting. This is Isaiah chapter 6, 1 to 8 and 9 to 13. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord sitting on a throne, high and lofty, and the hem of his robe filled the temple. Seraphs were in attendance above him. Each had 6 wings. With 2 they covered their faces, and with 2 they covered their feet, and with 2 they flew. And one called to another and said, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory." The pivots on the threshold shook at the voices of those who called, and the house filled with smoke. And I said, "Woe is me, I am lost, for I am a man of unclean lips, and I live among a people of unclean lips. Yet my eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts." Then one of the seraphs flew to me, holding a live coal that had been taken from the altar with a pair of tongs. The seraph touched my mouth with it and said, "Now that this has touched your lips, your guilt has departed, and your sin is blotted out." Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, "Whom shall I send? And who will go for us?" And I said, "Here I am, send me." And he said, "Go and say to this people, keep listening, but do not comprehend. Keep looking, but do not understand. Make the mind of this people dull, and stop their ears, and shut their eyes, so that they may not look with their eyes, and listen with their ears, and comprehend with their minds, and turn to be healed." Then I said, "How long, O Lord?" And he said, "Until cities lie waste without inhabitant, and houses without people, and the land is utterly desolate, until the Lord sends everyone far away, and vast is the emptiness in the midst of the land. Even if a 10th part remain in it, it will be burned again, like a terebinth or an oak whose stump remains standing when it is felled. The holy seed is its stump." Welcome back. Yuck, you may be thinking. I'd rather just be baptized and live an ordinary life and maybe go to church on, most Sundays, unless I have something better to do like football. Well, hang on, you're in for the ride of your lives. Let's fast forward to the early days of Jesus' ministry when he calls his first disciples, Peter and Andrew. You can see them here in the painting. It is from Luke 5, verses 1 to 11, the New Revised Standard Version. Once while Jesus was standing beside the lake of Gennesaret, and the crowd was pressing in on him to hear the word of God, he saw the 2 boats there at the shore of the lake. The fishermen had gone out of them and were washing their nets. He got into one of the boats, the one belonging to Simon, and asked him to pull out a little way from the shore. Then he sat down and taught the crowds from the boat. When he had finished speaking, he said to Simon, "Put out into the deep water and let down your nets for catch." Simon answered, "Master, we've worked all night long, but have caught nothing. Yet if you say so, I will let down the nets." When they had done this, they caught so many fish that their nets were beginning to break. So they signaled their partners in the other boat to come and help them. And they came and filled both boats so that they began to sink. But when Simon Peter saw that, he fell down at Jesus' knees, saying, "Go away from me, Lord, for I am a sinful man." For he and all who were with him were amazed at the catch of fish that they had taken. And so also were James and John, sons of Zebedee, who were partners with Simon. Then Jesus said to Simon, "Do not be afraid. From now on you will be catching people." When they had brought their boats to shore, they left everything and followed him. It was the end of a long day. Peter and Andrew cleaning their nets after a futile and back-breaking night of fishing. There was probably, they hoped, some fish stew left over from the last night, so at least they'd have full bellies after a long days of work, and could hope for a better catch the next day. Then a strange man appears with an even stranger request. "Put out into the deep water and let down your nets for catch." At first they protest. They were exhausted. And the man didn't even look like a fisherman. Simon answered, "Master, we have worked all night long, but have caught nothing. Yet if you say so, I will let down the nets." And if nothing else, the stranger is persuasive, and they reluctantly, I think, launched the boat one last time before their well-deserved rest. And you just heard the rest. They threw the newly cleaned net into the water, the net filling suddenly to the top, so much so that they had to call their fishing partners, James and John, to help them haul the catch to shore. And before they even had a chance to clean the fish and the net again, Jesus says, "Come now and follow me, and I will make you fishers of men." What the heck did that mean? Yet still stunned by the still wet and glistening harvest of fish at their feet, the four of them left everything behind without apparently a goodbye to their families, and walked off with the enigmatic stranger too. Who knew? This story has a bit less of the drama of the call of Isaiah to be a prophet, with his tongue still burning from the hot ember. These men, ordinary by all accounts, just left behind their fresh-caught fish, some of them possibly still flailing on their last breath. So within a few moments, we might cast aside these conversion stories as possibly true, probably enhanced a bit over time, but certainly not having anything to do with us, and we are already beginning to think about taking up our own tasks for the day. Stop! Just like the prophet Isaiah, just like the four probably illiterate fishermen, we have the same calling as they did. Probably didn't come in such a dramatic fashion, maybe even came to each of us unnoticed, but it has come nonetheless. Here you see a picture of a nun in full habit and a gun in her hand. Well, she didn't actually have a gun, but she didn't need it. She was my freshman homeroom teacher, Mother Evan, who faced me in the hallway a week after I had begun my high school career in an all-girls private school. She said emphatically to me, "You will become a Catholic." She obviously wasn't ordering me, but compelling me to not only look at Catholicism, but to view the new opportunities for the future in my young 13-year-old life. The next week, I was so impressed by the life that these nuns were leading, I knew I was going to be a nun, although I had to keep hidden this secret from my staunchly Episcopalian parents. Well, life intervened, as it often does, so these thoughts of being a nun got sort of pushed aside by marriage, 2 children at first, homemaking, until one day I wanted to go on retreat at the nearby Benedictine monastery, so my then husband and 2 kids drove me there. As we drove up the long, tree-lined and winding path, I knew something more was calling me. It felt like I was coming home. To what? Just like Peter and James, I had absolutely no idea. I soon found out. My first visit with the guest house master, Father Bernard, was the turning point, the blast-off pad, as you will, for the rest of my life. It was late summer 1976, and he told me that the seminary was going to admit women to its classes in the fall. The bell tolled. This was it. So with my family picking me up, the kids just 6 and 4, I informed them all I'd be going to seminary in the fall. Then on the first day, all the students assembled in the chapel under the sanctuary of the large Abbey church. I was the only female among all of them. And the song by Dan Shetty, "Here I Am, Lord," filled my ears.
I, the Lord of sea and sky, I have heard my people cry, all who dwell in dark and sin, my hand will save. I who made the stars of night, I will make their darkness bright. Who will bear my light to them? Whom shall I send? Here I am, Lord. Is it I, Lord? I have heard you calling in the night. I will go, Lord, if you lead me. I will hold your people in my heart. I, the Lord of wind and flame, I will tend the poor and lame. I will set a feast for them, my hand will save. Finest bread I will provide, till their hearts be satisfied. I will give my life to them. Whom shall I send? Here I am, Lord. Is it I, Lord? I have heard you calling in the night. I will go, Lord, if you lead me. I will hold
Yes, as I gazed around at all of my male classmates, I too was called. I no longer would sing the song the same way he wrote it. Is it I, Lord? But claimed then, right then, among all of the men, the song as my own, it is I, Lord. Just as the early disciples at the seashore, it led me on many adventures. Chaplaincy in a geriatric ward at a psychiatric hospital, playing basketball on the roof of the jail with prisoners, sitting at someone's side as they took their last breath, sheltering the homeless, feeding the hungry, blessing a woman at the side of the road who was begging for money, leading groups for rape, incest, and domestic violence survivors, working in an Alzheimer's unit, rescuing over 40 cats and kittens. Yes, God calls us to minister to animals too. And the list keeps on expanding every day, sometimes in unexpected ways. So as we end yet again with the song, know that it is not yet just about Isaiah the great prophet or even the fisherman 2,000 years ago on the Lake of Galilee. Sing along with it, and when it comes to the question, is it I, Lord? Sing it the right way. It is I, Lord. Blessings on your day and on your own calling.
I, the Lord of sea and sky, I have heard my people cry, all who dwell in dark and sin, my hand will save. I who made the stars of night, I will make their darkness bright. Who will bear my light to them? Whom shall I send? Here I am, Lord. Is it I, Lord? I have heard you calling in the night. I will go, Lord, if you lead me. I will hold your people in my heart. I, the Lord of wind and plain, I will tend the poor and lame. I will set a feast for them, my hand will save. Finest bread I will provide, till their hearts be satisfied. I will give my life to them. Whom shall I send? Here I am, Lord. Is it I, Lord? I have heard you calling in the night. I will go, Lord, if you lead me. I will hold your people in my heart. I will